is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die. And these Shield boys. Remember this day, man. Or it will be yours for all time. Spartans! Lay down your weapons! Persian! Come and get them! Hold! Give them nothing, but take from them everything! Stay! That's the best you can do!
Shalom. Shalom. First off, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kadash, Yahweh being the true name for the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name for his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the top of this truth and will. Salutations to you, hopeful life pushing this truth and all honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh Sab coming to another lesson to the spirit power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And this lesson is going to be going into the spirit, and it's going to be titled Strengthen Your Ranks. Strengthen your ranks, man. Spiritually, what's going on right now among the nation of Israel, if you have a heavy spiritual sifting. Okay, and now's the time for brothers to stick together and not fall apart, man. This thing is not a lone wolf thing. This is a thing that we need each other to make it through this, man. And the best visual representation of that reminds me of that movie 300, when showing them brothers in unity in battle, when you have 300 men against thousands upon thousands, basically whooping ass, man. And that would not have been possible without the proper teamwork. And this truth is about teamwork. It's not about a one man's army or doing things on your own. It's about strengthening your ranks and being there for each other to continue to push. We are going to go through adversity. We're going to go through things that is unexpected. And now is not the time to fold, man. We are at the very very end of this thing. Okay, these prophecies are being revealed to prove that we are at the very, very end of this thing. Now is not the time to be on shit that's on division, man. We got to stick together. You know, and this lesson is going to be basically proving that this is not a one man's army, one man's show. We do need the brotherhood. You got brothers that are set up to where they're in positions where they have no choice, where there's nobody around them, to where they are on their own. But even if they're on their own, they're on a mission to what? Bring in fruit to where they're not on their own. Okay? You know, so you can't be in a mentality. You know, this is rebuking the mentality, the spirit of a one-man army. I got this shit. You know, I can handle it on my own mindset. You know, one of the elders gave a question not too long ago. He said, "Hey, are you able to prophesy on your own?" You know, my answer spiritually would have been, the answer is no, because this thing is not of me. We are of one body of Yahweh Shai, of Yahweh Shai's body, not of my body, but of Yahweh Shai's body, which is composed of many, man. He died for the bloodshed of our sins. So like, and he died for many, man. He didn't die for just one man. This is not a one-man show. You know, going through this movie, the scene of 300, shows that without teamwork, their feats would have not have been possible, even though they ultimately lost this individual particular battle. But the mentality was victorious, man. And their legendary actions will live on forever. Shalaki, feeling low under the weather. So enough of me rambling on. We can go through the scriptures here to back up what was being said. This is Ecclesiastes, the 4th chapter. Okay, and we're gonna go down and we'll start at verse 9. It says, 2 are better than 1, because they have good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe unto him that is alone when he falleth, for he have not another to lift him up. This truth, this labor, prophesying requires team work. Okay, just like the mentality of the visual aspect of 300. We had 300 men against thousands. They needed every last one of those 300 men. They all served their part. It was not a one-man's army. Okay? Because if you fall, you need another to lift you up. If one fell from those ranks, if he slipped on mud, you had another to swing out his shield to guard him while the other brother got up. And once he got on his feet, he was ready to thrust out that spear and attack. Okay? Verse 11 says again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? In times of winter, and even in the special forces, when it comes to snipers, you have a spotter, and you have the actual rifleman. When they are in environments of extreme cold, there are measures that they must take to keep warm, and that's keep each other warm. Okay? But if he's out there by himself, where's the warmth? You know? They can use each other's body heat to survive. Whether it be a tent. You know? And it says, if one prevail against him, 2 shall withstand him. So if somebody comes against your brother and begins to try to whoop his ass or do harm unto him, well, 2 are going to withstand. It's 2 against that one enemy. And threefold cord is not quickly broken. All right? So even if you have 3, that cord is not going to be broke. This thing is not about individualism, regardless about how we feel about things that take place. Within Israel, man, we have to remember this thing is not about one man's show, one man's army, man. This thing is not possible without the body. It took the body to wake up the nation of Israel. It took 2 or 3 gathering his name, spread out in different various parts of the states, pushing videos. And those videos reaching out across the 4 corners of earth to wake men up. It did not start with one man and one man doing all that on his own, man. Strengthen the ranks. The spirit of division is within the air, and you got to rebuke that spirit, man. You know, Matthew 7:16. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? This thing is about producing fruits, man. What fruits have you gathered? If you're in this ministry, you should be having the goal of waking somebody up to this truth. One of the hopeful elect. And there's nothing more satisfying or beautiful than a brother reaching out to you saying, hey man, I've been watching your works and now I'm out here preaching. I'm out there on the highways and hedges and I'm laboring. And you watch that brother and he's sticking according to the doctrine. And that brother, is accepted amongst the body. There's no greater feeling, man. And Lord willing, I know that through experience. One of those brothers may tune into this, man. That's the end game, the ultimate goal, man. Our job is to wake up the hopeful elect. And that process comes through teamwork, man. Because it took a team, a body to wake your wicked ass up, man. Not just one nigga going out there doing the work. It took a plethora of brothers coming together through the spirit of gaining. Okay? To go out there and harvest, to gather yourself, which is known as a fruit. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. Okay? A good tree bringeth forth good fruit. We are supposed to be trees in this ministry. And we're supposed to be a whole orchard of trees, of apple trees, bringing forth good fruit. That's the job, man. It's not about doing shit for yourself. Hebrews 13:1. Let brotherly love continue. Brotherly love is important, man. Brotherly love is important to the ministry. Yahushua reached for his disciples and his own blood family members he turned his back on. And he said, who is my mother, my brother? And he reached forth his hands towards who? His disciples. Let's get that precept out. Matthew 12:47. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. His blood family, okay? Matthew 12:48. Then he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother? And who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand towards his disciples. Did it say disciple? Or did it say disciples? Plural. And said, behold, my mother and my brethren. So the body is our family, man. It's not a one man's army. Strengthen the ranks, okay? The brothers that are laboring, teaching this truth, are your brother, your family, if they're doing so correctly. And if there's little shit that they're doing incorrectly, they're to be corrected and built up. And that correction comes through decency and order. And we go through the guidance of what the Spirit hops on our apostles and elders to take place. And we got to roll with that and trust within that, because there is order within this ministry. If you don't trust in the order, you don't trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, because he deals with decency and order within this thing, man. Okay? So we do have, yes, a rank structure. We do have times where brothers may get suspended or kicked out. You know, we take that with a grain of salt and we push forward because brothers have shown their worth and shown through adversity to overcome things that have taken place. Brothers have been kicked out, quote unquote, wrongfully. But even though it may be perceived wrongfully, that was a time for that brother to be built up spiritually to where he came back on fire more than ever. And brothers come back into the truth, man, and come back into the fold. And they're back out there with the same group teaching, man. Sometimes things are held are in place for a reason to cause brothers to grow. And everything is of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know, this thing is not of men. It's all through the Spirit. Verse 50, Matthew 12:50, for whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Now, you know, bar none, that's ultimately decides who's of the fold, man. Who's ever doing the will. And there is a certain specific way in which that will must be carried. It must be carried in keeping the commandments, in decency and order, brotherly love, and focusing on this truth is being a teamwork, man. It's not of us. The Lord didn't die for himself. He died for all of us, our sins, man. A team. So if you're in this this mentality is I got it on my own, you're in the wrong spirit and you must rebuke that spirit. 2 Timothy 4:5, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of evangelists, make full proof of thy ministry. Watch all things that's going on around you. Pay attention to all spiritual signs and what brothers are bringing out. Endure afflictions. Many afflictions are of the righteous, man. So we're going to go through shit. Ultimately, we got to continue to do the work of evangelists and make full proof of thy ministry. Prove your works. Prove with your work, with your worth, through the ministry of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. In patience. You know? Matthew 18:15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, he has gained thy brother. So, when we're strengthening the ranks, we're in this world, this worldly flesh. Brothers are going to go off. Brothers are going to mess up. That's a guaranteed, a given. But scripture says, if a brother trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. Pull that brother to the side, say, hey, this is what the fuck you're doing wrong. I expect you to get your shit together and let's fix it. Verse 16 says, but if he will not hear thee, then take thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. So once you've pulled this brother aside and you made an attempt to say, hey, look, you communicate with this brother saying, hey, this is what you're doing wrong, man. I need you to fix it. This is where you offended me at. Make it happen. Okay, once you've done that, and the brother doesn't hear you, he's not feeling you, not getting it, then you take 2 or 3 witnesses, so that everything you told this brother, 2 or 3 witnesses can be hearing it and it be established. If that fails, verse 17, and if he shall neglect to hear them, means he's still not trying to hear them, he is ignoring them, he's not communicating, he's not reaching out, or he's not just getting it, he's neglecting to hear them, tell it to the church. But if you neglect to hear the church, so if you neglect to hear all the other brothers' counsel on what you need to do to fix it, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. Okay, this is part of strengthening the ranks. We have to cast out scoffers and scorners. All right, if brother just can't get it, he's been pulled aside individually, talked to. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what you need to fix. Then you have a council. And everyone in the council say, hey, brother, this is what's going on. This is what you need to fix. If he neglect to hear them based off of emotions or whatever is going on to where he just can't get it or not trying to get it because he's too angry, he's counted as a heathen man and a publican. Okay? Verse 18 says, verily I say unto you, whatsoever shall ye bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. So this thing is ultimately the goal was to happen in heaven, was to be established on earth, man. So it was bound, was to be bound in earth, so it's bound in heaven. And everybody's set on things in the place that they need to be upon the return of the Lord, man. Proverbs 27:10, thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. We got to stay close, man. Strengthen your ranks. It says, thy own friend thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a brother that is near than a brother that is far off. It's better that a brother that is there for you, that's listening to you, than a brother that is far off, that is distant. Okay? You got to know who's in your corner. Proverbs 17:17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. You know, a friend's going to love you no matter what that goes through, and a brother is born for adversity, difficult times. Even though a brother goes through difficult times, he stays focused on track on what's to be at hand and what you need to do. Stay a brother. Stay focused on this ministry, man. Second Timothy 2. Verse 3, it says, thou therefore endure hardness as good soldier of Yahushua. You got to endure the afflictions and sufferings in this truth. And brothers, you may be in a position where you are being chastised, afflicted, man. You got to endure that hardness as a soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. So you don't want to entangle yourself and get caught up with the affairs of life and wickedness and carnality that goes on around you. And as long as you don't get entangled and too caught up in that, you will please him that chosen you to be a soldier. Believe it or not, the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Shai, chose individual people who he's already selected and handpicked to be soldiers of his ministry. Okay? This is John 17, verse 22. And the glory which thou gavest me, I have given them, and they may be one, even as we are one. We are on one body in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It's not one person against everything. It's all of us uniting as one, just like the Spartans in 300. When they closed their ranks, they put their shields down, they got in that circle, and they lifted the shields, they thrusted their spears, and they put the shields right back down to protect each individual brother, man. We focus as one weapon, one body in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It's not a one man's army. Beware of the spirit of division. Matthew 18:20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Did it say 1 are gathered? Scripture says 2 or 3 gathered. Okay? This proves this thing is about teamwork. It's not a one man's army. And if you are in a position where it's uncontrolled, you're in a position where the Lord sets you up to start something new, when there's already something not established, then that's one thing. You are the beginning. You are the first seed that has been planted, that has grown into a tree to grow fruit. Okay? But if there's already a tree in place that is growing fruit, then there's not necessarily another tree that is needed. Okay? It says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them, man. The Lord is there when 2 or 3 are gathered, not just one gathered. Proverbs 15:32. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. You got to listen to the instruction that's been given, man. When closing in these ranks, hey, there's a leader of the group, the general, that's yelling out instruction. Hey, close the shields, open shields, thrust your spears, close the shields. That's the instruction. Without that instruction, you don't have any type of order. And then you have chaos, unbalance, to where nobody's focusing on unison, man. That requires an instruction leader to save your life. You have to trust on the man that's calling the shots and giving the orders, that he knows what he's doing, that's paying attention to what's going on. We're in a time period where Passover is coming up now in 3 weeks? It's time to close your ranks, man, and get stronger, because, hey, the enemy is running in. Just like those Persians in 300, you got thousands of people running at us right now. And not just people, but spiritual attacks with the plagues and the pestilences, the future economic collapse. There's a lot of weapons and warfare that's going on against those of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Now is the time to strengthen, not to fold. This is 1 Thessalonians 5. And we'll start off here. Verse 12. Thessalonians 5:12. And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you. You got to know who you're fighting with, man, who's laboring among you. You got to know that person individually. Spend time with them individually. Gain some type of bond with that brother, man. You got to know who you're swinging swords with. If you don't know this person and you can't establish some type of connection, how can you know this person is gonna defend your life? It says, and are over you in the Lord and admonish you. Know those who are over you, who place a position over you. Have a personal relationship with them and admonish you. They should be admonishing you. Meaning, if you're going off, they should be correcting you. Not just leaving you to the wolves and letting you go to your own destruction. And take the correction and take it gladly, man. To know that their brother, hey, he actually looks out for your well-being so you won't be destroyed for shit you're going off on. And to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake. So esteem the brother for their highly for the shit they're doing in works for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Pay attention to the works that they're doing. Is it worth being esteemed? Is it subpar? Does it need to be improved? Is it improved? Is it on point? Okay, if it's on point, it's improved, then hey, encourage them. If it's not on point or where it needs to be, hey, rebuke them and lift them up. Say, hey, you can do better and be a better person. These are things that people that are above you, if they are doing this, if they're on top of shit like that, then you need to esteem them highly. Okay? And to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace among yourselves. Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient towards all men. So have patience that all men and all brothers can improve. Give them a chance. And once you give them the chance that things are not improving, then you gotta go for the next step, man. It says, see that none render evil for evil unto any man, but follow that which is good, both among yourselves unto all men. Okay? So ultimately focus on this truth and focus on doing the right thing, man. And be in positions to lift brothers up and rebuke brothers. And brothers got to be able to take that rebuke and pay attention to the rebuke that's coming from elders, man. Stay focused and strengthen the ranks. Because we are at the very end of this thing. The very, very end. You know? And so with that, you're gonna see and experience a lot of prophecies happening. A lot of death and destruction. And now is not the time to fold. We all need each other in the times that come in hand. Especially during Jacob's trouble. We need brothers to lean on for protection. Brothers to go to that's going to have our back in life or death situations. Not just for us, but for our family's sake. And we have a spirit right now where brothers are falling out and doing their own thing and quitting. That's not the mindset to be in, man. Strengthen the ranks. If brothers got to go through adversities, then that's their own brother's adversity to go through. Pray for that brother and let that brother be lifted up. Let his works be proved. Ultimately, stick together, man. For so whoever shall do the will of my Father which in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. That's Matthew 12:50. Pay attention to who's doing the will, the work of the Lord, and who's doing it to the fullest, not half-assed, but the right way. And this whole ministry, brotherly love, the decency and order, the correction, the works, the prophecies being pushed out, that all goes a part of doing the will. If somebody's slacking on the will, then it's our job as brothers to rebuke that brother and say, hey, get it right. And the brother can't get it right, he just can't get it right. And you got to go through next steps for him to get it right, man. You pray for that brother and pray that he gets it, and you continue to push. Don't quit. Don't fold. You know? So, Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. Just hopping through the Spirit. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honor to the elder and the apostles of Great Millstone, the top of his truth and rule well. And salutations to you, hopeful, like pushing his truth in all honesty and sincerity. Shalom.